Welcome, folks, and thank you for joining us today for the Know Your Retirement Numbers presentation. Today's meeting will guide employees through the steps needed to determine realistic retirement goals. Folks, my name is Freddie Mauricio, and I'm with Voya Financial, and I am a registered representative with Voya Financial Partners, LLC. And today I have the pleasure of going over this specific topic with you folks. Before we begin, though, disclosures are very important. I'd like to give you a minute to review the slide, which simply states that any of the information I'm about to discuss with you not be considered financial advice nor tax advice. We strongly urge you to seek professional assistance when it comes to those topics. Before we begin, we'd like to give you a brief overview of the ABA Retirement Funds Program and its structure. We feel that it's important for you, the participant, to understand how the program works. Over the last 60 or so years, the program has grown to over 3,800 law firm retirement plans. That is as of December 31st, 2025. Due to the size of the program, the board of directors of the ABA Retirement Funds can hire some of the best financial professionals in the industry. As the structured diagrams that you see on this slide illustrates, Mercer Trust Company acts as the investment fiduciary, trustee, and custodian of the program. Voya Financial is the record-keeping and administrator of the plan. And then last but not least, you have Charles Schwab, who provides the self-directed brokerage account for the program. All of these make up the entities involved in managing the ABA Retirement Funds program. Your firm offers a number of benefits to help you save for your financial future. To date, some of the things that we'll be discussing for today's topics are as follows. We're going to be talking about how to determine your retirement goal. Everything starts with a goal, whether it's a short-term goal or a long-term goal. You're going to need to set something up that you can strive for. How to reach that goal is going to be our next point. And then, of course, what tools and resources are available for me to be able to reach those goals. And finally, where to go should you need assistance, how can we provide assistance if needed when it comes to your plan. When it comes to determining your income goal, in this first section, we're going to look at not only how the plan works, but also how you can contribute and invest within your retirement plan. The average spending amount in retirement, we're going to look at older households, which is defined as those run by 65 years or older that spend an average of a little over $45,000 a year, or roughly about $3,800 a month. This chart actually breaks down the average percentage of spending into 7 main categories. As you can see, starting on the right-hand side, housing is going to make the bulk of that percentage, about 38%, followed by transportation, healthcare, food, personal insurance, charitable, and finally, entertainment. So this is what typically makes up the average spending amount during retirement. Now, what are your possible sources of retirement income? We expect that Social Security is going to make about 40% of your income throughout retirement. 60% is going to have to come through other sources, whether it's your 401k, if you're lucky enough to have a pension plan, or any other type of accounts that are specifically set aside for retirement should make up the other 60% of your assets. So what is your retirement income goal? Has anyone ever considered calculating their income goal for retirement? At Voya, that income goal is our focus. We found out through our research that many people have never calculated their income goal. After all, how can you be sure saving enough if you don't know how much you'll need each year or each month during your retirement? We're here to change that. Everyone has their own idea, and by the end of our time together here, you'll be ahead of many people because you at least would have learned how you can figure that income retirement goal with this presentation. Let's run through a quick example of a plan a participant with a current salary of $60,000 a year is making. So if we take that $60,000 and you say that you need anywhere between 70% to 85% of your current working income each year during retirement, we're going to come up with, based on that number, 80% of income replacement is going to be about $48,000. Or in other words, on a monthly basis, this individual's retirement income goal is going to be about $4,000 a month. Now, let's take your income goal. So let's assume that based on your savings and your investments, your 401k, your plan is going to generate about $2,000 monthly in income. But the goal here, of course, is $4,000 a month, or you have an income gap of $2,000. Let's not forget Social Security benefits. So you're projected to receive $1,500 a month via Social Security benefits. Now that shortens the income gap to just $500. We're getting there, but not quite there. You want to make sure that we get to that income goal. But what if you had a small pension? What if that pension has generated that additional $500 in income goal? Now, folks, let's put it all together and you'll see that we would have achieved our goal. Let's focus on the 401k portion, show you how Voya can help you with that piece of the puzzle through your plan in the program and the tools and services that are available to you to help you reach that goal. So you can easily see how a 401k accounts for $2,000. Social Security makes up the difference up to $1,500. And then that pension will make up the difference to finally get you to that $4,000 income goal. Again, our objective is to help you with the figure under the 401k amount. How can we get you $2,000 a month to be able to get you to your retirement income goals? The next section, we're going to look at some of the different ways for you to make the most of your plan, and then, of course, take action in your financial future. So your retirement plan is one of the most convenient ways to save for your retirement and work towards achieving your retirement income goal. Your contributions are automatically deducted from your pay, and you choose how much to save up to an annual maximum contribution that is stated by the IRS. You can save even more if you're over 50 with a catch-up contribution, and those that are between the ages of 60 and 63 can actually contribute a specific amount each calendar year based on the super catch-up that was started in 2025. Now, for those that are age 50 or over, and you made more than $150,000 last year in income wages, this year, your catch-up contributions can only be made in the form of a Roth. This is a new change in legislation, so you need to be aware that if you made more than $150,000 last year and you're eligible for catch-up contributions, those catch-up contributions will have to be made in the form of Roth contributions. In this example, because of the power of tax-deferred savings, you can contribute to the plan and actually have more spendable income than if you save same amount after tax outside the plan. Your contributions grow tax-deferred in your account, and then when you retire and withdraw your investments, you'll pay taxes on those contributions and any earnings in those contributions. So take a look at some of the key areas in this example. In both instances, the individual is saving $2,400 a year. But in the right column, this individual who's saving through the plan pays less federal income taxes because of the contributions to the plan are deducted pre-tax, meaning you get a tax deduction on that year. That is a big difference about how you save into the plan. Your contributions are deducted pre-tax. Because of this, you can actually have more money in your paycheck compared to someone that saved the same amount on an after-tax basis. Money will be taxed as ordinary income in the year it is received, and early withdrawals taken before age 59 and a half will be subject to an IRS 10% premature distribution penalty tax, unless an exception applies. Accounts values fluctuate with market conditions, folks, so when you surrender the principal may be worth more or less than what you originally invested. So another thing to keep in mind when determining whether you want to do a pre-tax contribution or an outside after-tax contribution. Earlier, we talked about saving through the plan. You have another option regarding how to handle taxes. You can choose the traditional 401k option and take your tax deferral up front. That is what we talked about the previous example. Or you can choose the Roth 401k option, which takes income tax out of your pay before your contribution is placed into your 401k. So you pay the taxes up front. And there's another option, of course, you can even choose to contribute into both. If the plan allows, you can actually choose both options, contribute a portion into pre-tax or contribute onto the Roth option, therefore allowing you to either get a tax deduction or pay the taxes up front. Both options are typically available in many plans. Time can be on your side when you're investing, so you want to make sure that you invest early so you can benefit from compounding. Compounding means that each dollar you contribute generates earnings or just simply continues to grow. Those earnings that can then generate more earnings and so on. So compounding starts slowly but builds momentum over time. In the long run, compounding can have a big impact on how much you have at retirement. So that is why it pays to save as much as you can as soon as you can. So as you can see in this example, Jenny is able to take advantage of compounding returns by saving early. Jenny is able to accumulate more funds over time than John did, who decided to wait 5 years before beginning to save for his retirement. Saving for retirement can be a challenge for many Americans, but the earlier you start to save for retirement, the longer you have the power of compound interest working in your favor. The last section, titled Tools and Techniques, we will cover some of how saving and investing techniques and some of the resources that are available in your account can help. A little today can go a long way over a long term. So let's take a look at this example. You'll notice a small deferral difference between the employee B and employee C. Employee C is saving only a small amount more per pay period. This difference today can compound to be a large difference when both employees retire. So try to save as much as you can today because it can make a difference later. Another thing to consider is saving even longer for retirement. In the second part of this example, we see how much impact can occur if the person decided to postpone retirement and keep saving and investing for an additional 5 years. The idea here is to start saving and investing as soon as possible, therefore not have to sacrifice more time by having to play catch up towards the end. Another savings technique is to start saving today, but then slowly increasing your contributions as time goes by. In this example, we look at a 15-year time period in which one person saves 6% and never changes their contribution levels, shown as you can see in the green. The second person started at 6% contribution, but then increased it by 1% per year until that person's contribution level hit 15%. That is the one that you see in blue. As we can see from the graph, by slowly increasing the contribution rate, it has had a significant result, nearly doubling the account versus the person who never increased their savings rate. Remember, folks, you want to make sure that your savings keep up with your increases with your income. If you get an increase in your income, always a good idea to set aside a portion of that increase so that your savings keep up with your income. Some of you may be wondering, what is asset allocation, Freddie? I've heard of this quite a bit when it comes to retirement. The asset allocation decision is one of the most important factors in determining both the return and the risk of an investment portfolio. Asset allocation is the process of developing a diversified investment portfolio by combining different assets, varying proportions. An asset is anything that produces income or can be purchased and sold, such as stocks, bonds, even certificate of deposits. So asset classes are groupings of assets with similar characteristics and properties. So some examples of the asset classes can be, like I said, stocks, long-term government bonds, even treasury bills. All of those can be considered asset classes. Every asset class has a distinct characteristic and may perform differently in response to the market. So therefore, you have to give careful consideration to which asset you want to hold on to and what you want to invest within each asset class. Those factors are going to greatly influence the allocation decision of your financial needs and your goals. So the length of your investment horizon and your attitude towards risk are going to determine ultimately what kind of mix you're going to have within your plan. Over the next three slides, I'm going to provide you with some sample asset allocations. Please be aware that each investor profile are different. This portfolio may not represent exactly the right choice for you. With that being said, the first example of that is of an aggressive asset allocation. Notice that the portfolio is dominated by a more aggressive asset class, stocks, but in efforts to diversify, there are elements of domestic and international stocks, large and small mid-sized stocks, and even exposure to both value and growth investments. You should also notice that even an aggressive portfolio may benefit from having some exposure to a less aggressive asset, in this case, the bonds. The second example is that of a moderate asset allocation. Notice that the portfolio is still dominated by stock, but bond exposure has increased and cash equivalent have been introduced into this portfolio. This portfolio will still be affected by the volatility of the stock market, but it has the potential to be less volatile than the aggressive portfolio. Again, notice the diversification among the different types of stock funds. The final example is that of a conservative asset allocation. This may be the portfolio of someone that is not comfortable with large amounts of volatility or someone close to their retirement goals. Notice that the portfolio has very little exposure to stocks, and the stocks it does hold are only in the largest U.S. companies. In attempts to control short-term volatility, most of this portfolio is split between bonds and cash equivalent. I hope these examples help, but remember that sample portfolios displayed are not intended as a specific suggestions or to be used as your primary basis for an investment decision that you may end up making. These were intended to demonstrate how asset classes can be used in different proportions to construct a nice investment portfolio. A diverse selection of investment options is important to ensure that every participant has suitable choices to help meet his or her needs. The program has options from a variety of investors. The program's platform of investment is designed into three simple paths, which are available no matter what type of participant you are. If you would rather have a simple solution, the program offers a pre-mix diversified fund menu or path 1. If you are an investor who takes a more hands-on approach in making decisions, but you may seek validation as well, then the program's path 2 may be the right option for you. For individuals who are in retirement or soon will be in retirement, there is a path 3. All of these investment options are available to you. Simply choose the path that you feel more comfortable with based on your specific financial situation. To keep it simple for participants, Mercer Trust Company has decided that the platform investments should be divided into 3 categories depending on the level of involvement a participant is looking for with regards to managing their own individual investment options. We start with our menu of Path 1 funds. These are pre-mixed diversified solutions. These are a one-fund solution for the participants who wants very little involvement in choosing their investments. The only choice you have to make is whether or not you want to be diversified based on your age or based on your risk tolerance. Once you make that decision, you have to choose the most appropriate fund for your age risk tolerance, and Mercer Trust Company manages that diversification for you. The second path fund menu allows you for a little bit more diversification. You first will make the decision if you would like to be invested in funds that are actively managed, index-based, or perhaps a little bit of both. Once you make that decision, you can determine your own allocation based on your age, your risk tolerance, and your time horizon. The third path is for individuals who are retired or nearly ready to retire. These are a suite of 4 investment options that have an investment objective and strategies that may be attractive to investors in this phase of their career. So to summarize, our investment platform is designed to meet the needs of every investor. You can use one or all of the options available, and we charge no transfer fees between the core funds. This information is about the self-managed brokerage account which may be offered through your plan. This option is for advanced investors due to the amount of information needed to effectively manage a customized portfolio of securities. You can buy, sell individual stocks, bonds, and many retail mutual funds. You should also be aware that transactions fees applies in this account. You should read the application thoroughly before opening this type of account. Also, kindly take a minute to read through these disclosures when it comes to the personal choice retirement account or the brokerage account that we just discussed. After you enroll in the plan, you can use MyOrangeMoney to track your progress toward reaching your estimated retirement income goal. MyOrangeMoney is an interactive educational online experience from Voya, and it's really helpful in determining how much you might need to save. MyOrangeMoney, like I said, is an interactive tool letting you change different aspects of your retirement saving strategy, including your contribution rate. Right here, and you can grab the slider and go up and forth, and it gives you immediately an idea as to how that impacts your retirement goals. The good news is that there's plenty of help available. You don't have to go to it alone. And this is too important to leave to the chance the correct decisions can meet the difference between retiring comfortably and just barely getting by. So make sure that you reach out to a professional needed. If you need help with your financial plan, you can talk to a Voya representative over the phone. Financial advisors are available at the number that you see here, or you can easily scan the QR code and schedule a complimentary appointment with one of our financial professionals from VFA. You likely have lots of questions about investing in your retirement plan. For example, which investment plan should I choose? How much should I save? How much might my account be worth at retirement? And how much investment risk am I taking? To help you answer these questions, these very important questions, your plan works with Voya Retirement Advisor to offer you a personalized, professional, and objective investment advice for your plan assets. The VRA, or Voya Retirement Advisory Services, powered by Edelman Financial Engines, provide investment advice and planning tools to help participants meet their retirement savings goal. The service uses Financial Engines methodology and technology to deliver all advisory services recommendations, allowing VRA investment advisors representatives to deliver an objective savings and investment advice. To access your plan account in the ABA Retirement Funds Program, visit the website at abaretirement.com, download the Voya app, email us at contact@abaretirement.com, or you can call us toll free at the automated phone lines at 1-800-348-2272. Use the 24-hour phone system or speak with a customer service associate. We'll be more than happy to assist. And at this moment, folks, I'd like to thank you for staying through. I hope you found this informative and beneficial. Thank you once again.